Hi, and welcome to M. Claire's Yoga and Wellness channel. Today we're going to do a feel-good flow. So I really do hope you enjoy it. It's to get into the joints and alleviate some stiffness that you may have. If some of the poses are a little bit difficult for you, I will give modifications and just be kind to yourself. Have a go, but if it's something you just can't do right now, keep coming back to the video and trying it again. So let's get started. Since it's an opener today, we're going to come back, sit at the back of our mat. Just take a few deep breaths before we come into child's pose. We want to alleviate any stress from the body. We want to really allow the body to be calm and any stiffness that we have in the joints. We can do a lot of things for the hips and trying to open up the shoulders. Just really get into the areas that hold a lot of tension and tightness. So when you just sit here, you can close your eyes, place your hands comfortably on your lap. I want you to just take a few deep inhales and exhales before we start. You can either stay here, or if you'd like to use your hands, you can also bring your hands over your head as you inhale. And then exhale. And again, inhale. Exhale. And last one, inhale. And exhale. We can come forward into our child's pose. If you can, I'd like you to open up your knees, keep your toes together, reach your fingers to the front of the mat and sink your chest towards the mat. I want you to really feel this opening of the hips as we get started. Interlace your fingers and then bring your hands over the back of your head. Getting deep into the triceps and the back of your shoulders. Bring your hands towards the front of your mat again. Just coming up, bring your knees together and then again sink over. You can also bring your hands to your heels. Bringing your head towards your knees and then just lifting up through your back and getting a lovely stretch through your back as well. If this is too much at the beginning, please stay in child's pose. Then come back, interlace your fingers, and again bring your forehead to the mat, and you can try and bring your hands towards the front of your mat. This is really getting into your shoulders here, and these joints that get very tight. Try and keep your palms together. And then come on up, and you're just going to look towards the right side, bringing your hands towards the left. Then come back to the center. Again, bring your forehead to the mat. Bring your hands over the top of your head. And if this is also too much early on, just stay again into child's pose, bringing your fingers to the front of your mat. Then come back up and look over your left shoulder, bringing your hands towards the right. Again, come back to the center, bring your forehead to the mat, and bring your hands over the top. Then release. Come on up, place your hands in the center of your mat, tuck your toes and push up into our first downward facing dog. Now keep your feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to aim to try and bring your feet towards the mat. But if you have a bend in the knee or you're up on the toes, that's okay. It's your practice. So be wherever you are comfortable. And as we move through this flow, you'll see that your flexibility and your mobility will increase. And really breathe deeply in between our poses as well. And when we're standing in a pose like this for a while, I want you to really breathe through any discomfort and allow any tension and stiffness to release. Then take a few steps forward to the front of your mat into standing forward fold. This time though, I want you to bring your feet to the outside of the mat, so you're slightly wider than we usually would be. And you're just going to hang and place your hands in the center. If you're further up, just wherever you're comfortable. And then you can also hold onto your elbows and add a little movement side to side. We're doing this a little wider so we can get into different areas than we usually would do when we stand in a normal standing forward fold. Then come back to the center. Just allow the top half of your torso and your head to be heavy as it falls towards the mat. And we just take hold of the outside of your right ankle with your left hand, and you can add a twist here. Come back through the center. Hold on to your left foot with your right hand and add that twist. Then come back through the center. Again, place your hands in the center of the mat if it feels good. Just hang here again for a second. Then turn your feet out and we're going to come down into our Malasana, our wide-legged yogic squat. Here we're going to use our elbows to push our knees out to get deep into these hips. This is where we really want to start opening up these stiff areas, our hip joints. We've started opening our shoulders. Now let's open up some of our hip areas and the glutes as well, which hold a lot of tension as well. We're going to get into those soon. So try and keep your back nice and straight. Use your elbows, as like I said, to push out the knees. And try and get your feet flat on the floor. If they are up here, be patient with yourself. As your flexibility increases, this will become much easier to sit in these poses, especially for extended periods of time. But they don't always happen overnight. You can also start to add a little bit of a rock here, just getting deeper into that hip, if that feels nice for you. So you can just move one in, one out. But listen to your own body. You don't want to do this if you're very tight and then you hurt yourself. That's not the plan for this workout. It's meant to be a feel-good flow where we're opening up and releasing tension out of these stiff areas of the body. You can also move side to side if that feels good as well. As you move side to side, you can lift one foot up and down, just getting a little bit deeper into other areas of the body. Just careful with your balance. Then come back to center. Place your hands in the center of the mat, and you can either walk or jump back into plank, wherever you feel comfortable here. Hold your plank. We're just going to add some spinal mobility here too. So you're going to drop your hips down, look up in our upward facing dog, but don't untuck your toes, and then you're just going to push back into our downward facing dog. And we're just going to move between, and you can add a wave-like motion as well, just to really add that nice mobility into the spine. Push back. And if you come up on your tiptoes, that also gets into the toes, opening up the joints there too, because our toes don't always get moved in the opposite direction. So if this feels good for you, then please also join me. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Push back into your downward facing dog. Again, hold it here. Breathe. Then extend your left leg. And you're just going to stack your hips. Again, getting into that hip joint. You can add circles here as well if that feels good for you. As big or as small as your hip joint will allow. And then you can change direction. And extend your leg back into 3-legged downward dog. Come forward into plank, through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then push back into downward facing dog. And extend your right leg, and again, open up that hip, bringing your heel towards your glute and stacking your hips here, getting into the hip joint. And again, if it feels good for you, you can add those nice big circles getting into the hip. Or small circles, whatever you feel is best for you. Then change direction. Last one. Extend back into the 3-legged downward dog. Come forward into plank. And again, through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And push back into downward facing dog. I want you to just step with your right foot to the outside of your right hand, coming into lizard. Before we drop our back knee to the floor, I want you just to stay here. You can roll to the outside of that right foot, just really getting deep into that hip and breathing through the uncomfort. You can also add movements back and forth here, also getting into the wrists as well as deeper into the hip and groin. You can also, if it feels good, take your hand and just push that knee out and add a slight back bend here. Looking over that right shoulder, deepening the stretch. And you can add a bit of movement here, bringing your knee back into the center, pushing back out again. Bringing it knee towards the center and then pushing that knee out. And you'll feel it really does just open up the hip by adding movement as well. Sometimes it's nice to stay still and hold poses, and others, when we're trying to really open things up, adding movement really helps. Then come back, place your hand, again, roll over to the outside of your foot, bring that back knee down, and again just sit here, and if you'd like to go deeper, you can come down onto your forearms. And if you'd like to add movement here too, you can place your hands on the floor, bringing your forehead to the mat, coming up and doing this wave-like motion with your body that also helps you to get deeper into the hip area. And if you'd like to bring your forehead to the mat and then just stay here for a few breaths, please join me. Then come on up, tuck your toes, and you're just going to step that foot back into plank through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then push back into your downward facing dog. And feel the difference on each side. Does your right hip feel a lot more open now compared to your left? Can you see by adding this movement and really opening up the body how much of a difference it feels with your stiffness? Is it starting to dissipate? And now step forward with your left foot to the outside of your mat. And you're just going to roll again over onto the outside of that left foot, deepening that stretch here. And again, like I said, you can add a bit of movement forward and back here as well, just getting into the wrists as well as the hip. But this is your practice. It's important to listen to your own body. So if something I do feels good for me, but when you're trying it, it really doesn't, then don't do it. Okay, just stay in either the previous position or just wait and we'll be moving on swiftly. So you have to listen to yourself. And that's one of the beautiful things about yoga, is it teaches you how to have that connection with yourself as well as your body. Quite often in life, so many people are so disconnected between the two. And this is such a great practice where we become present and listen to what our body wants and what feels good. And that connection grows stronger and stronger. Again, you can now take your hand, push your left knee out as you add a slight back bend, looking over your left shoulder, getting a deeper stretch here. And if you want to add movement as well, join me, bringing that knee towards the midline and then pushing it back out again. Then come back to center, drop that back knee. And you can either stay here if this is as far as you want to go, or you can come down onto your forearms. Again, if you want to add a rock here as well, that feels good, go for it. If you want to add that movement with me as well, come on up, bring your forehead to the mat, and add these nice sort of waves up and down. Or you can come down and bring your forehead to the mat. Then come on back up, tuck your toes, step back into our plank, through our chaturanga, upward facing dog. Just hold it here for a breath. You can move your head side to side, keeping your thighs off the floor and our shoulders down, and then push back into our downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. Now I want you to look to the front of your mat. You can either walk, step, or jump to the front of your mat. And here we're just going to come into our chair pose. Send your arms over your head, squat down. Just add a few little pulses here. And then come on up into our mountain pose. You can reach your fingers over the top of your head, interlace your fingers, point your index finger up, and then add a little back bend here. Come on back up. Bring your hands down by your side. You're going to take your right foot, take it over the top of your left knee, and we're going to come into our standing pigeon. Careful with your balance. Take your hands in prayer position, and you're just going to, so like I said, watch your balance, find your drishti spot, and squat down, and really feel that glute opening. This is such a great exercise. And you can add a twist here. Please be careful with your balance. Placing your, if I can, you place your elbow onto your foot and just add that twist here. And then if you fall, you just come back up. And then come back. Fold over into your standing forward fold. Place your hands next to your feet. Just hang here. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can also take hold of your elbows. Extend your legs, bring your forehead towards your knees. Put a slight bend in your knee and then slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Coming back into our mountain pose. Again, taking our hands over the top of the head, interlacing our fingers and adding that back bend. Then come back up, bring your hands down by your side, and now we're going to repeat our standing pigeon on the opposite side. And as you see, I fall out too. It's totally normal. You know, some days we have balance, some days we don't. Sometimes things are harder one side than the other. So it's just fun. It's only for you to play with your body, open it up, relieve the tension. It's not a competition. It's just something for you to make you feel better. It's a feel-good flow. So with that being said, let's take your left foot, take it over the top of your right. Find your balance, look for your drishti spot, and then slowly come down. Placing your hands in prayer position. If you want to as well, to help you, you can also use your fingers on the floor. So if you need that extra balance, then that's a perfect way of doing it and still getting the deep stretch. And if you want to try that twist, you place your elbow onto the outside of your foot and then add that twist. And you can look at the floor or you can look to the ceiling, depending on where your balance is. When you're ready, you can come on out. And then bring your foot back. Come back into that standing forward fold. Again, just feel your body relax over down to the floor. Allow your head to be heavy. And you can either add another rock side to side,
holding onto your elbows to add that movement, or you can again interlace your hands behind your knees, holding onto your elbows and pulling your head towards your knees. Then bend your knees. We're just going to slowly come down into the center of our mat. Hold on to your knees. We're going to do some spinal mobility here. You're just going to push your chest up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the sky, and then roll down one vertebra at a time. Bring your chin towards your chest. And you can repeat this in your own pace. And come on up. And we're just slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Extend your right leg, and then you're just going to place it over the top of your left foot. And we're going to do that same pigeon that we just did, the standing pigeon, but we're going to do it as a revolved pigeon, which is a lot easier with your balance. Bring your hands behind the back of your knee, and you can just pull that heel towards your forehead and use your elbow to push out that right knee to deepen that stretch. Then come on back, extend your right foot, bring it down, extend your left foot, bend your right knee and repeat on the opposite side. Interlace your fingers behind your right leg, use that elbow to push out the left knee and really bring that heel towards your forehead. And you can either lie down if that's enough, or you can lift your head up, whichever you feel you get the best stretch with. And then bring that knee back down, extend your left leg, come back, and we're just going to open our feet or join our feet together, coming into this reclined butterfly position. So bring your bottoms of your feet together, allow your knees to just fall to the side, and you can place your hands comfortably on your lap or down by your side, whichever you feel better with, as we're coming into our final position of Shavasana. I just want you to close your eyes here and just feel your body. Feel how much it's opened in this short but effective flow today. How much more fluidity you have in your joints. How much more open your body feels throughout the shoulders, the spine, and the pelvis. And thank yourself for coming and being present on your mat today and gifting your body this time to release any stress and stiffness and tightness that you had in your body. And for anyone that would like to extend their legs to come into our full expression of Shavasana, please do so. Extend your legs, allow them to fall to the side of your body, and allow your arms to also just come to a comfortable position. Allowing everything to relax and sink into the mat.
Focus on your breathing, your inhales and exhales, as your body slows down and comes back to its resting position, the place where it does its best healing. And where it can function at its optimal level. And if you're ready to end your practice here, I want you to wake up your body, bring your knees towards your chest, and just give yourself a big squeeze, and you can rock side to side, just getting into that lumbar spine. And I'm just going to roll on over, coming up to meet me in the center of your mat. You can either come into an easy position or you can come into lotus as well if it's within your practice. And then we're just going to take our last few breaths here before we end off our practice. Again, we're going to bring our hands over the top of our head. Inhale deeply through our nose. Exhale. Again, in through your nose. Exhale. And last one, in through your nose. And exhale. Thank you very much for joining me today on this Feel Good Flow. I hope you do find that it opened up a lot of those stiff areas and that you're feeling a lot more relaxed after this flow. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and also please comment below and let me know which other flows you'd like to see. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.